Today I take a look at some of the cheapest wargaming alternative miniatures for D&D and other fantasy role-playing games. Wrath of Kings. Oh, hello everybody. I'm just checking in on my onion box. So I still have a bunch of those big sweet onions, which that's all they had then. But I still have some lovely normal yellow onions left, so I'm good with that. These pears are going to be going bad soon, so I need to remember to eat these as soon as I can.
Pile of diet sodas is getting a little bit low, but I've got enough diet soda.
I am running low on bottle caps.
And luckily, I got a good stash of the Wrath of Kings. So I'm not going to run out of these anytime soon. Hoo-hoo.
So at this exact time, it seems like the absolute best deals with wargaming miniatures you can use with fantasy role-playing games seems to be the Wrath of Kings sets by Cool Mini or Not. Now, of course, this is going to change with the passage of time. I remember when the amazing pre-painted Confrontation sets were the absolute best deal for wargaming miniatures. Not only were they a similar scale to D&D, but they were already pre-painted. Sadly, those miniatures have skyrocketed in price since I did my original video on them years ago. And of course, there are a plethora of other Cool Mini or Not games out there that are excellent for D&D. Zombicide has to be my second favorite right now. The player character miniatures are a little bit harder to find nowadays, but there are plenty of US sellers that are selling the monster miniatures from Black Plague, and those make excellent D&D monsters. And of course, let's not forget oddities like the others that have a ton of products out there, many of which are going to hit deep clearance sometime in the near future. But let's get back to my pick for the best inexpensive wargaming miniatures, Wrath of Kings. With 5 different unique factions, you will be able to find a lot of very interesting miniatures that will fit in easily with D&D. Remember those lobstermen from the jungles of Chult? Well, there's an expansion that would be absolutely perfect for them. And if you're interested in getting a bunch of cheap miniatures for a very good price, the starter sets with up to 24 miniatures have been hitting rock bottom prices at Miniature Market and Game Castle recently. So just a quick note, these are wargaming miniatures, so they are going to be a bit more fragile than most D&D miniatures. You're going to have to assemble them and prime them, but it's really not that bad. They have these nice little snap-in inserts, so assembling is not a hassle. And these miniatures have a nice level of detail, such as this crab monster's armor and little belt pouches. So before I show you some samples next to my little D&D farmer guy, a lot of people have been asking me why I use the farmer for representation of scale. It's because D&D miniatures don't really have a set scale. They're kind of caught in there in this weird 28mm heroic scale. So I think the D&D farmer is a nice kind of halfway point between some of the skinnier, more true to 28mm miniatures we've been seeing lately and some of the chunkier ones that we have seen in the past and that we continue to see. And here we have some of the vampires from House Goritzi. An interesting faction. This has a lot of vampires and werewolves. The vampires are generally going to be in scale with D&D, as you can see from this very quickly speed-painted vampire. Speed-painted, still looks great, perfect for D&D. So there you have it. Due to the cheap price point we have been seeing recently and the vast variety of miniatures in Wrath of Kings, I would say this has to be my favorite set for looking for alternative miniatures for D&D and other fantasy RPGs. However, this is just my opinion. If you know of any other wargaming miniatures that are great for D&D or maybe great for Warhammer Fantasy, please let me know in the comments below.